In this lesson, guys, we're focusing on solving problems using the primary trig ratios, that's sine, cos, and tan. And you're going to notice a couple of expressions that come up a lot in these problems, that is angle of elevation and angle of depression. If you imagine standing on the ground looking up at a very tall building, that angle that you look up, the difference from horizontal, that's called the angle of elevation. And I remember that by thinking, if I'm feeling good, I'm feeling up, my mood is elevated, up is elevation. And on the inverse of that, if you're standing on the top of the building and you're looking down from the horizontal, or for example, if you're flying in an airplane and you're looking down towards the runway, the angle that you're looking down from horizontal is called the angle of depression. And of course, if I was feeling depressed, I would be feeling in a down mood, and so I would be looking down for depression. When I go to solve trig problems, there's sort of three main things that I'm always going to do for every one of them, or four maybe. Number one, I'm going to draw a diagram. Always going to start by drawing out a diagram for these problems. And in my diagram, I want to focus on math stuff. So the cute little characters are nice, but they don't add anything to the problem to help me solve it. The stylistic building, it's great, but again, it doesn't add to the problem to help me solve it. So I want to focus on the math. I want to see where is the triangle in the problem. I want to know what are the measurements. I want to know what are the angles that I know for this problem, and I want to know what are the unknown things. I want to know what are the unknown. I want to show what are the unknown things that I'm trying to find out. So draw a diagram, focus on the math, and label that diagram so that you can discuss it in your calculations. Second thing that needs to be done is to pick a trig ratio. You're going to know from drawing the diagram and locating the triangle, are you talking about the opposite side, the adjacent side, or the hypotenuse? Are you trying to find the opposite side, the adjacent side, the hypotenuse, or are you trying to find an unknown angle? With those details, you can choose what you need to solve the problem. For the most part, it's going to be picking a trig ratio, but don't forget there's always the Pythagorean theorem, or the fact that the sum of the angles is 180 degrees that you can also use as pieces that could help in problem solving for trig type problems. Okay, so draw a diagram, pick how you're going to solve it, make some calculations. So actually carry out solving it, and then finish with a concluding statement. That gives me a complete solution to a math problem. Remember, the answer to a math problem is not a number. It's a complete argument. So a math problem, a trig problem, to give me a complete argument, has a diagram, has a chosen way of solving it, and maybe even a note of why you picked that, has some calculations, and has a statement at the end to be a complete solution.